Hello IT Pros and welcome back to my IT workshop. This is Alvendril and in this video we're going to start creating a very basic game in TKinter. Okay, so this is my channel, my IT workshop, and in the past weeks I've been doing some coding with TKinter. So these are the basics. If you're interested, the link for that video is in the video description below. So I have done in these 3 videos that you can see here a basic app. So it's a in my opinion, it's very useful app, very cool. So again, if you want to check that, it's in the video description below. So I'm going to be using the same TKinter knowledge that we have acquired in this video over here. So that's what we are going to do today. So as you can see here, this is the game. I'm going to execute it. I'll double click on it and it's in my other monitor. So allow me a few seconds so I can bring it. So the game, like I said, is very basic. It's not like God of War or Grand Theft Auto. So it's very basic. So as you can see here, we have some blocks, and you can see that these blocks over here are grayed out. So I cannot click on them. I cannot press them. So if I click here, if it goes green, it's going to enable the next one. Okay, so if I go green, it's going to enable the next one, and so on. So, and with this button, I can restart everything. So if I go red, I'm going to lose the game, so I cannot click anything else. So this is a basic game, so it's just random luck, if you will. So it's like if you have some number and it's the number that we assign it to be the winner, it's going to be green. If not, it's going to be red and then you lose. All right. So this is a basic game. I'm going to play it again. So I press it. I lost again. I press it again. I lost again. I press it. Green, 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 and I win. Okay. So it's very basic. I'm going to show you how to do that. Right. So I'm going to close this because we don't really need it. We understand how this works. So I'm going to close it and I'm going to close the other screen as well. Well, the other window. So for that, I'm going to open a new TKinter file. So this one is called first game TKinter. Okay. So we're going to start with the basics like we have done in the last videos. So from TKinter, import everything. Then we're going to call root capital TK parentheses parentheses. Then we're going to give it a name, root that title. So we're going to call it my first game. Okay, my first game. And then, as you know, we have to close all this loop with root that main loop. So this is the basics to create a window in TKinter. So everything that we're going to create inside this loop is going to be inside the window. So we're going to create the buttons first. And as you have seen a few seconds ago, we're going to have 4 buttons. So actually 5. So okay, let me open the app one more time. So where is the app? It's over here. So I'm going to double click on it and I'm going to bring it from my other monitor. So as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. So I'm not going to close it this time. So it's going to be like there. So anytime we need to see it, it's going to be there. So well, we're going to create the buttons first. All these, so 5 buttons in total. Okay. So we are going to start doing that. So I'm going to place something here, create buttons. So we are going to start doing it. So I'm going to start from the top. So I'm going to call this button 3, 2, 1, 0. And this is going to be the reset button. We can call it anything that you may like. You can start like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or any way that you may like, but I'm going to start I just chose to do it that way. So we're going to do just that, and we're going to start with button 3, which is the one in the top. Button 3 is going to be equal to the function button. Well, this has to be capital button, and here we're going to type root. The text is going to be blocked because we cannot press it, right? And the path X is going to be, this can be any number that you may like, but I just chose 25. Then path Y is going to be equal to 15. Then the font, again, you can choose any font that you may like. And for this one, I'm going just to choose Consoles because I just like it. The size is going to be 12. And like in the other video, we are going to make it bold, so it's more noticeable. And this is the part that we didn't use in the last video, but but I explained it in the TKinter basics, the state of the button. So as you can see here, I'm going to go back to the app. These are blocked, so I cannot press them unless the only one I can press is this one over here, the one in the bottom. So if I press it, and when if it goes green, it's going to enable the next button. So I cannot press these other two, but I can press this one. I lost here, but you get the point. These buttons are going to be disabled or blocked, if you will. So that's something we can do in TKinter. So the state is going to be disable, like that. So allow me to, I'm going to make it a little bigger so you can see it better. As you can notice, the icons in my desktop are a little bigger, so you can see better what I do. That's why it's a little big. So now we're going to do button 2, and we can actually copy all these because all of them are going to be kind of the same. So we're going to copy them 4 times first. So this is going to be button 2, button 1, and we can do it button 0. So it's going to be the same, all of them, except this one over here. This one over here, which is button 0, I just call it that way. This one has to be enabled, right? So it's not going to be blocked. It's going to, we're going to make it, we're going to print, press, or better, let's do it, click me, okay? Click me. So the rest is going to be the same. State is not going to be disabled, so we are going to delete all this because the state has to be like regular state, so available, if you will. And then we are going to, oh, what am I doing? This has to go to the end. So we're going to copy it over here. So a little lower, and we are good. So the next step, allow me to put these guys a little up. And the next step is going to be place the buttons. So I'm going to place buttons, place buttons. So this one, for that, I'm going to copy button 1, button 3 over here. And as you remember, we are going to use the grid method. So for that, it's going to be in row 0, column 0, column. Because as you remember, TKinter starts counting from the top. So this is going to be 0, row 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. And this is going to be column 0, 1, 2, 3. So in this case, we're only using one column. We don't have anything else. So this is going to be column 0, row 0. Only the row is going to be increasing. Okay, so we have that, and we're going to repeat the same for the next buttons. So like that, we're going to copy it. And this is going to be 2, this is going to be 1, and this is going to be 0. But the row is the only thing that's going to change. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. And the column is going to be 0 still. So we're going to save this, and let's see how it looks. So I have an error here. What is the error? From, okay, I typed it wrong. From TKinter, okay. So we're going to save it and allow me to bring it from the other monitor. So this is how it looks. So as you can see, it's not doing anything. This is the final product. Come on. This is the final product. This is the one that is working, but this one is not doing anything yet. So I'm going to close it. Yes, I want to close this, and we're going to run it again. Run module. Where is this guy? Allow me to bring it from the other screen. Come on. Here you are. So as you can see, all of them are blocked, and the click one is the only one that is, well, clickable or available, but it's not doing anything. So I'm going to close this. I think we have to do the reset button, right? Yeah, the restart. We haven't done it. We haven't done that yet. So I'm going to close this. Yes, I'm going to finish it. And we're going to do the restart. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to create the reset, well, button underscore restart. Yeah, so that's good. And this one is going to be kind of the same. We're going to kind of copy all of this, and it's going to be button root text, and we're going to restart, like, come on, like any regular game, restart. Now, we are going, this is going to be a little smaller, so let's change it to 10, Part1 to 10. The font can be the same, console as the size 12 and bold, but we are going to change the background of that button just to make it, let's say, different. So for background is BG, and we can select the color. Let's say silver. Well, this doesn't have to be capital, just like that. And the font, it's okay, I think. So we're going to save it, run it. Oh, we didn't place anything, so it's not going to show anything. So we have to place this one. So this one, I'm going to copy this, and we're going to put it over here. So we're going to use the grid function, method, grid, and we're going to do in the next row. So the last one was row 3. So since, if you remember, something is printing over here, right? When you lose or when you win. So if I go here and I press restart, something shows here if you win. So let's see if I can do it. And as you can see here, we have a message here. So that one is going to show up in 0, 1, 2, 3 in row 4. So this one is in row 5. So we're going to use that one, row 5. Column is still 0, column 0. So let's see how it looks. So we're going to run it, and again, allow me a few seconds to bring it from the other monitor, and this is how it looks. Why is it printing in row 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? Because nothing is being printed yet. So when we add the text to say you win or you lose, it's going to, this one is going to go to row 5, okay? So don't worry about that. So now, we have that, and then if you remember, we can do, when we have, these are the buttons, but the buttons are not doing anything. So we can assign a function to the button to actually do something, like print something, or in this case, just play the game, okay? So for here, the button 0 is going to be the one that is actually going to do something. So if you remember, we come here and we do the command, and this one is going to, this is going to be the name of the function. So this one is going to call button 0 with capital, and now we have to create the function. So you remember I always said that the functions, you have to create it on top. If you create it, let's say over here, you can run it, but it's going to give you an error. So the functions have to be here. So I'm going just to define a function. I'm just going to copy it. Def button 0, this is my function. And what do we want the function to do? So when I press button number 1, it has to do something, right? Like I said, it's going to be just a random selection. So for example, if you have two numbers, 1 and 2, and when you press it at random, it chooses one of those two numbers. Let's say it chooses 2, and we assign 2 to be the loser. So it's going to give me the red. I start it again, and if I press it again, and this time at randomly it chooses number 1, so I'm going to win. So that's something we have to create. So for that def button, we have to create the randomize the random function. So for that we have to import that library, import and it's called random, just like that, just import random. So for that we have to create a function def, and it's going to be called get random. You can call it anything that you may like. And what this function is going to do is very simple. So number, this is a variable, and I'm going to use the library random that randint. So random int, which is an integer, and here we give the range. So we are going to choose between 1 and 2. And this is actually not like when we choose only as, for example, we are going to the lower number, 1, and the maximum, which is 2, okay? So it's going to choose between these two numbers at random, so it's 50-50, right? So we want, after that, to return the number. So what we're going to be doing here is that this function getRandom can be called anything that you may like. We are assigning, this is a variable number, and what this part is doing is going to select a random number between 1 and 2. So it's going to select either 1 or 2. You can do it like 1 and 100. There is no problem with that. You can do it from 2 to, I don't know, 10. Okay, but since this one is a basic game, we're just going to choose 1 and 2. So that's what's happening here. And for this one, if I remember correctly, if 1 means you win, 2 means you lose. So if I press here, then it means that randomly 1 was selected. So like I said, you have a 50-50 chance of you have 50-50 chance of either getting 1 or 2. So I've got to the next one, and randomly it has selected 2, so I lost. So that's what we have created here. So we have the function. So inside this, what we're going to do is we're going to call inside button 1 this function. So we're going to call it this is just a variable, c equal to get random, like this, get random. And we're going to do an if c equal 1, what is going to happen? Well, if I'm going to restart this. If when we press this button, which is button 0, what's going to happen? It's going to go inside this function and it's going to call the random function. So it calls it and it's going to generate either 1 and 2. So what happens if it's 1? So I'm going to choose that when it's 1, you win. So something has to happen, right? So if I win, this button over here has to be enabled. As you can see, it's not grayed out anymore like these two, and instead of saying blocked, it says press me. So we have to create that, all right? So for that, we have to change the buttons one more time. But what buttons? All of them? Oh, where is my software? Okay, all of them? No, only button 1, because these two we don't care yet. Because, for example, button number 2 depends on button number 1, and button number 3 depends on the result of button number 2. So that's what we need to do. So if c equal to 1, what's going to happen? Button 1 has to change. I mean, button 0 has to change, right? Actually, yeah, button 0 has to change. Like you can see here, I cannot press it anymore. It's grayed out. So that's something we have to do. So if c equals 0, then bottom 0 is going to be, and we can copy all this. It's not going to be exactly the same, but it's going to be, it's going to share some similarities. So I'm going to, I copy twice. Bottom 0 is going to be equal to button root text, and now we have to change it to click me, right? All this is the same, the font is the same, and this is the part where we change things. So it's going to be a state, now it's going to be disable. Why? Because once I press this and I win, I cannot do anything here. It's grayed out. So it's going to fit. Maybe it's not going to fit. Let's make it a little bigger. Okay, state disabled. Let's make it like this so we can save a few more, some more space. So it's going to be disabled, and the background also has to change. So the background is going to be green. So no, like this. Perfect. So what else has to change? I don't like this. It's kind of I cannot see very well this part, so I'm trying to make it fit in the screen. So bottom, we have to make this like this. Yeah, it's a little better, but maybe we can do it even a little better. Well, yeah, it's the best I believe I can do. I don't have more space. Oh, I have one more space here. Boom. And like that. Oh, now it fits everything. So what else needs to happen? We have to place this button, of course. Even though it's here, we have to place it again. So it's going to be the same place. Row 3, column 0. And then we have to enable button number 1. So we can come here and copy all this. We have to do the same for bottom number 1. So instead of 0, it's going to be 1. The function is the same. It's going to be click me. All this is the same, and this part over here is going to be bold, and this has to be enabled. So we're going to delete the state. The background, we don't do anything with the background yet. So it's going to look like this for now. And this one is going to be button 1, and the row is going to be row 2, column 0. So let's see what happens. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to run it. So allow me a few seconds while I bring it from the other monitor. Looks like this. So I'm going to click. I won. So that means it's going to turn green like we have done, and then the next button up is going to be enabled. So if I click this one, nothing happens because we haven't created anything for this button yet, but it's working. So I'm going to close this, I'm going to close this. So that's what we are doing in the function. So when we press, as you have seen here, button 0, when we press it, it's going to go to this function, button 0. So we call it that. We define the function, we have created our random function, so it's going to give us at random either 1 or 2. Here we call the function, so there is a number that has been assigned, we don't know what it is, and we say if it is 1, I'm going to put a note here. 1 means that you won. So if it's 1, what is going to happen? Button 1 is going to change, button 0 is going to change the text to click me. No, it's already click me, so that is not going to change at all. What is going to change is that it's going to be disabled. Okay, we can change this, but I don't see the point. It's going to be disabled and it's going to be green. So the grid is going to be row 3, nothing changes there. And the other change is that button 1, the next one over here, is going to change to enable. So it's going to say click me, all the same. And instead of disable, it's going to be enable now. And the location, well, the location in the grid is going to be row 2, column 0, just like we did at the beginning over here. Okay, so what happens now if it doesn't work? What happens if it's number 2? So here I'm going to put a note. 2 means you lose or you lost. All right, so if that happens, then button 1, restart, what happens? If I press it and now the 2 is randomly selected, this button has to turn red and it has to be disabled. Okay, so I'm going to copy kind of the same here. So button 2 over here it's going to be button root, press me, well, click me, console as 12, state disabled, and instead of green, it's going to be red. And the location is going to be the same. It's not going to change anything. So let's run it. Allow me a few seconds to bring it from my other monitor. And let's see, click me. Okay, I won. I'm going to restart because this button is not doing anything. Restart. Oh, the restart button is not working. I forgot about that. We have to configure it. Yeah. Okay. So let's run it again. We're going to run it again until we get a 0. I mean a number 2. So click me. Okay, I lost. So as you can see, when I lost, so that means 2 has been selected, number 2 has been randomly selected, it's grayed out. It's red and I cannot click it anymore. And the rest is blocked as well. So restart is not working. So until there, before we continue, this is a good time for you to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. So guys, I'm going to continue the next video. I believe the video is way too long it's too long now. So the next video is going to be posted on Monday and we're going to continue with the other buttons. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any other comment or questions, leave it in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.